everybody. Welcome back. I am Kimberly Ho, Councilwoman of the City of Westminster. Today, I am here with Tim Hogan again, my co-host. Thank you for coming back to be my co-host.
Oh, thank you for having me back.
Feeling?
Well, very good. Very good.
So far, we've done, what, 2 videos together?
2 together.
Yes, and how do you feel?
Very good.
Okay.
I thought we've gone well with the videos, the topics that we've covered. We've done in depth, and I think explained a lot of things to the people. So,
you know, I'm really doing this video for the people, for our, at least for our constituents, my constituents, City of Westminster, our residents, and really, you know, we're not professionals, everybody. So I really appreciated all the, you know, the comments and all the compliments that we have received so far. And of course, you know, if we, you know, we will improve over time. But I think this is a good, these are good videos or YouTube segments. I'm going to try to keep them short and, you know, about 20 minutes per subject matter. And so every video will be a different topic. So if you have a topic in mind that we should touch on, please feel free to, you know, either text us or put in your comment, and we will definitely get to your topic that you request. So, you know, for the 3rd video, I was thinking there's so much to talk about. It's really hard to pick a topic. How do you feel?
it is a little hard to pick the topic. We've, like I say, we've dealt with some of the issues. We've really dealt with those very well. Looking at it now, I can see that where we're at is trying to figure out where we're going to be in a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks, we're going to have a new mayor, a new council.
Yes. So as you know, the ballots are already in the mail. So if you like to vote by mail, then you could vote right now. And if you like to vote in person, I believe the poll is going to open 7 days before the 8th. That makes it November 1st to November 8th. So please do vote, though. I mean, I think it's good for us to, you know, vote and you know, it is our civic duty. I think. What's the percentage of people who voted this last primary? Do you remember?
I don't remember for the
Very
primary.
low
It was a low number. It's always a low number,
always
unfortunately.
Low. So hopefully, you know, this November election, we will have a good turnout.
Should have a little more.
Yes. So anyway, you're right. So I think that the topic, which makes it you know, a good topic to talk about would be. What do you think?
Well, I'd like to hear what your plans are for the future.
Oh, okay.
In terms of your taking office. And,
okay. Yeah, so we'll talk about my vision.
Yeah, sure.
I think at the meet and greet, I did talk a lot about my vision. And so for those who have not ever come to one of my meet and greets, I had one at the, I think it was at Fantastic Cafe, and I had another one at the restaurant. What's it called?
Oh, yes, the Birria.
Oh, I forgot the name of that restaurant. Such a great Mexican restaurant.
Yes.
But anyway, yes, for my vision. You know, for 30, 40 years, when I talked about, like, you know, I don't really go back that far in history, 30, 40 years, but I've, you know, but someone has told me, you know, that in the last 40 years, we haven't had a good mayor. And what do I mean by a good mayor? I think a mayor who's proactive at making things happen. So I hope to, and I know I will be such a mayor, because I'm going to dedicate 110% of my time to fix things. I mean, there's so much that we got to do. You know, one of the reasons I'm running is because there are problems to solve, and I can tell you that. You know, one of them is the financial problem, as you know, the financial crisis. And I could talk this whole segment about the financial crisis that we're in, but I know we spoke about it in our first video.
Yes.
And one of the things that we can all do is to vote yes on Measure Y. We talked about that, right?
Yes.
I mean,
That's a
how
start
can
for
we
it.
stand to lose $17 million in revenue at this time?
No, we can't do that.
Right.
We'd lose too many services, too much of our city.
Yeah,
in
I
the
know there's
process.
something that, I mean, something about, you know, increasing taxes that people don't like, and I understand that. I'm all for not increasing, you know, taxes, but, you know, but here, this is not about a tax increase, okay, right?
No.
And we've said it so many times, it's not a tax increase, it's really just, you know, it expires, is due to expire, the 1 cent tax due to expire the end of December. Can we afford for it to end in
No,
December?
we can't.
So that's why we're asking for it to expire in 20 years. So
20 years.
I gave the vote to put it on the ballot, and so we were able to get 4. It wasn't easy.
No, it was not.
You were there.
Yes,
Were you
it was
there?
a late night. Yes, oh yes.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I think the very first day we had deliberated until what, 2 o'clock? And
2, 3 in the morning. Yeah.
yeah, and then we had to continue 2 days later with a special meeting, and that went until, well, it wasn't bad because somebody
few
had to
hours,
go to
but,
work,
yeah.
but from 11 to 1, it wasn't bad. But, you know, what we got out of it was 4 votes
Yes.
to put the
It's what we
Measure
needed,
Y and to extend it for
For 20 years.
20 years. Isn't that
Yes.
cool? Well, okay, I'll take that. But see, here's the thing. We always kick the can down the road. We hope we don't do that. I want, you know, myself as mayor, if once I become mayor, what I want to do is really, you know, hit the ground running, roll up my sleeves, and get to work. And so we can't say, hey, I've got 20 more years and spend 4 years, you know, of the next
Not doing
term,
something,
the
yes.
whole term, do nothing, and thinking that you're going to get another, 16 years after that. So I hope that's not going to happen, and that's why I run. And because I'm so tired of, or shall I say, I feel bad for our citizens, you know, that they have to face it again, you know, in 2016. Do you remember? Were you there?
Oh yes. Yes.
Yes. And how did you feel back then when there was the 1 cent tax that wasn't even on the ballot, and we're trying to get it on the ballot the first time?
That was a scary time, wondering just what was going to happen with the city, with the services.
Yeah.
How our police were going to withstand losing 75% of their
Yeah.
of that money would be out of their budget. So
Yeah, Tim, and I was thinking, gosh, that wasn't that long ago, and
No,
we
it wasn't.
remember vividly, right?
Oh yeah.
So now we're facing it again, and I'm thinking, this is not fair. Not fair for the people at all. Well, I mean, I understand that 3 years of COVID and all that, but we're not expecting COVID to last for the next 20 years.
No.
So we got to do what we got to do, and that is to have a plan. So I'm a mayor who's going to have a plan. Well, I'm speaking as if I'm already a mayor. Well, I can pretend that, you know, once I become mayor, this is what I'm going to do. I would like to be proactive, be hands-on, okay? I am not going to just come to the meetings twice a month and sit through that and that's it, you know? So some of, I guess one of the opponents did define the role of a mayor as someone who's going to be like a referee at those meetings. For me, bringing in revenue is an important thing, okay? So I could go on and on about that, but let's put that one last, although it is very important. I think that, you know, we've got other issues to solve, like such as the homeless,
Yes.
right? So everybody's like, oh, well, when are we going to take care of that homelessness, and why? Well, it did increase from the time, what it was at 2016 count to now. I think it went up from 70 to 160 something
Yes.
head counts. And so I can tell you that, you know, well, there are laws that we have to abide by. And so now you heard about, I think there was a public hearing or a, an outreach?
Yes.
Or a, just a
Announcement
public
of the,
announcement
yeah,
or
of the,
meeting just
of the
to-
navigation center that
Yes,
she
and it
proposed.
was about the navigation. What do you think of that?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good start.
So the navigation center that's exactly what I mean, is that, you know what, all this time we really need someone at the helm to network. We need to network among all of the cities surrounding us. Network with Stanton, Huntington Beach, Anaheim, and Garden Grove. And here we struck the deal with Fountain Valley. So I do believe that the person at the helm needs to network, and that includes the mayor, that includes the city manager. Our city manager is doing a great job, and by the way, you know what, we got the navigation center up because of her ability to network.
Yes.
Now that is not limited, should not be limited to just the city manager. Do you agree?
No. Oh no, it shouldn't be. I mean, there's a role for everyone, a role for the city manager, a role for the council members and mayor.
Yes, and if there is anything I have not touched on, please let me know, and I'm kind of painting you a picture to answer your question, what my vision is for the city. So I'm going to try to skip through really quickly each one because there's so much, you know. So I believe that so the homelessness, where you know, I have to, and I will make it my priority to make sure we stay focused and solve this homeless situation, okay? So very soon, hopefully in this coming year, we'll be able to, our police officers will be able to exercise the anti-encampment law and remove the ones that don't want to come to our navigation center to get help. So, you know, we're, you know, good, shall I say, we're, you know, I think everybody has a heart. We're you know, we feel for the homeless. We want to help them, but you know, our citizens have cried out and said this has been going on for too long. We
have to have a multi-pronged approach, such as the navigation center is giving us. Instead of just focusing on, well, we're going to move these people along, we have to give them a position or an ability to put their lives right if that's what they desire. To be able to find work if we can do that, to get them into housing itself, and the navigation center will provide that.
Well, yes, the navigation center as well as the company that will, you know, we will actually we'll put a RFP out there to hire a company to manage and, you know, and serve the people there. So I know the cost is going to be split, and that's really the consolation, is that we're going to be able to split a cost among three cities. So I know we talked a little bit about that already at the last video, but let's move on to what's the other thing, what's my vision. Well, you know, what I see is that there's so much going on with our, you know, number one is so much money that's what we're walking away from. So, you know, one of the things that I can tell you, that one thing about me is that I will volunteer to do things that I am good at doing. And what I'm good at doing is bringing in money. So give me that chance, because this is the problem. This is our main problem right now, is the lack of money. And the lack of money, we cannot just sit and depend on our, you know, general funds. That's our tax dollars, our sales tax dollars. So we got to be able to make more sales tax money, dollars.
Definitely.
So one thing that it just kind of, you know, bothered me for a long time, and till this day, once I heard about the you know, Costco. Remember, you know, that Costco right on in Bellaterra? Now, that Costco is built in city of Huntington Beach instead of ours. They came to us first. Well, this is before my time.
Oh, okay.
What do you think of that? Well, how did we lose Costco to our...
That's unconscionable that we lose something like that,
So it's just like, why do we... so one of the reasons I heard is that, you know, this city is full of corruptions, and that there are people who are preventing developers and business people, companies from entering the city to do business. They make it hard, and they're the gatekeepers. So I'm going to end all that, and I think you've already seen in the last 2 years, 1.5 years since the beginning of 2021, that I ended, or shall I say, I uncovered, because I'm not in cahoots with people who do that. Maybe they initially, when I didn't know that all that was going on. Well, they were my friends, but friends no more when you take advantage of me and my vote to, you know, to do shady things and to, you know, do harm to our city. So there's no way I'd be in cahoots with any of that.
Oh.
So let's go back. How did I kind of stray into that topic? But I just want to say about revenue. Now, I am all about bringing revenue into the city. So going back to your original question to me was, what's my vision? Well, I'm going to bring in, it's really easier said than done, and I know that. We all know that people are like, a lot of people, most people all talk, right? But not me, because I know that I can, you know, with the history of how I built my company with just $500. It's kind of a long story why I only wanted to take $500. It was like a chemistry kit that I started with. So you see how, you know the saying, right? It takes money to make money.
Yes.
Well, have you ever done anything like that? Like where you started from nothing and made money?
I have my own business that started from nothing and built up. So
really?
Yeah, definitely aware of that.
Oh, one day I want to hear all about you, but today it's about me now.
It's about you. But yeah, I mean, but it is a
That's
thing
interesting.
That
I love to hear about other people's businesses, especially success stories. I'll tell you that. Okay. So now then you will. This what I'm about to say is going to totally resonate with you, right?
Yes.
So let me say, when our city has like no money to start to, I mean, we're going to make some money, big money, right? Because we're looking to right away have to come up with a way to fill the $3 million shortfall.
Yes.
Every year, even with Measure Y passing. So please remember that. Again, please vote for Measure Y because even with Measure Y, we are going to still have to, still have to like, you know, pump in $3 million. Otherwise, we will see $3 million will add up. The next thing you know, we're in trouble again financially.
Yes.
So that $3 million may be, you know, probably $3 to $5 million because of inflation.
Yes.
And so how things are kind of, costs are climbing. So, you know, I do believe, as I touched on networking, I do believe that the cities surrounding us, they're so big that they spend the money nationally, anyway, internationally. Like, you know, the Surf City USA, competitions and things that they do to drum up business, to bring tourists to their town. Well, Anaheim, well, you know, well, I don't need to tell you, but Anaheim with their Disneyland and they, you know, it's just, how can we not profit from being their neighbor,
Being
right?
close to them, yes.
Right? So I'm not going to go into how because we don't have time, but I'm going to tell you that it takes a really creative person like myself, an innovative person like myself, and I've done that, been there, done that. So I just need the opportunity, really, just an opportunity to show you, and because we cannot afford to vote for anybody else simply because you know that I understand that everything else is important also, but as they are also important to me, like your safety, I understand. If your safety, if people say, if my opponents say that safety is important, how can you not vote for Measure Y, right?
Yes.
So what do you think the first thing that's going to go is what?
It's going to be the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, right? So do you think we have a choice of what kind of money can we bring in to cover, you know, police and fire really add up to 75% of our general funds,
Yeah.
you know, costs, right, of running. And so 75% of our general funds go towards police and fire.
Yes.
So we definitely, and we know that we need to protect our citizens, especially with criminals being released early. And you heard the police, were you there when the police chief reported to us about crimes, how that crime's risen?
Yeah, crime is rising in the city. And
do you remember the number?
62%, I think, was the number that he
Very
gave
good
for.
memory. I just kind of rounded to 60%, but that 62%, that's a pretty good, that's an exact number I heard. And so I can tell you that that's really, really scary. This is not the time to even talk about defunding the police. I don't think it's ever a good time to defund the police.
No, it's
but
not.
You know what? And our citizens have already spoken that 80% of our citizens want to continue with the services they have, and they don't mind paying the 1 cent tax. So anyway, what else am I going to do for our city? Do you have any questions for me as I
Well, at the moment,
proceed?
you've been answering a lot of my questions without my having even asked them. One thing that has impressed me in the conversations with you is your desire to coordinate with the surrounding cities and
that's a must.
to work with them. I've not heard that from any of the other candidates.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I think we, in this day and age, I think in business, people who are not in business, they don't think about what networking could bring to the table. As I mention it, and my son taught me this phrase, he said, your network is your net worth, So when you think about it, he's right, So,
very good.
So thanks, Weston, for that. So let me just say that if we don't network, okay, so I love being next door to these cities, okay? So because I believe that they can benefit from us. Well, I'm going to sit down very soon with, and I'm going to interview the mayor of city of Huntington Beach, and that's Barbara Douglas. And she already accepted my request, and she's coming very soon. So her complaint to me was she wanted to sit down with our mayor. Actually, she met with the mayor 5 times, she said. But nothing became of it. So she was quite demoralized because, they actually sat down 5 times. So I'm like, oh my goodness, but I'm usually the go-to person, but who goes to me? I'm just a city council person, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, if you don't know, mayors will go for another mayor. So unless they know you personally.
Yes.
Okay. So just like I know personally Mayor Dave Shaver, because I serve with him on the PCTA board, Public Authority, Cable Authority Board. And so he goes to me, he'll call on me. But other cities, if the mayor doesn't know you personally, they'll go mayor to mayor. So I said, oh my goodness, I'd love to have that conversation one day.
Oh, yeah.
So when I get elected, for sure, I'm going to sit down with her. And I'm going to sit down with as many cities as I can. If I feel like they have something to offer us at a city of Westminster, I certainly going to call on them. And then after that, it would be like, you kind of also have to remember that, we have to have a two-way win-win,
Yes.
At least we got to come up with win-win. I'm very good with that. Don't you agree?
Oh, yes.
I can't just be sitting there going, well, that's how you do business, with experience and also with a lot of, I've taken classes, they teach you how to network. And so I just do it so naturally because I've been in business for so long.
Yes.
That we got to really call on our neighbors, our rich neighbors. And so I believe that they'll be able to pull us up. And that's how we're going to do things without money.
There are ways we can help them, so we need to explore that.
Yeah. And you know what? And something I'm going to touch on, this last topic, because this video, as I promised, I'm going to keep it short to 15, 20 minutes. But I know that we are going to talk about this topic in probably in depth in our next video. And that is development in our city, how we are so underdeveloped, okay? And so I'm the only candidate with planning in my background. So I spent 3.5 years on the Planning Commission, and I'm the only candidate. So that's, if you have people without, or I believe the mayor is someone who's going to spearhead a lot of things. So I believe he or she sets a tone to the, to the discussions. She's going to set the topic, and for me, I'm going to, make sure I spearhead all these topics are really important, plus many more. So I can tell you that you cannot just be sitting there letting staff, staff I don't believe staff should have a vision, or they could have a vision if they want to, but we don't. What do you think? We don't think of, because staff changes, you know what I'm saying? They're here for 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years if we're lucky. Like someone at the helm, like city manager Christine, what do you think? Does the mayor need to have the vision, or does staff?
I think mayor should have the vision to inspire the staff to go further.
I like that. Yeah, and it's true. I believe the mayor needs to have a vision. And when our city operates without a vision, or without a mayor with a vision, this is what you see. This is exactly what you see.
Yeah.
And it's been happening for like 40 years. I said 20. Somebody corrected me and said 30, and then another person corrected that and said 40. So I said, okay, so 40 years. We got to start now. It's never too late. So I can tell you that, I believe the mayor needs to have a vision, and then bring that vision forth and share that with the council, and piece by piece make it a reality. And we'll be able to get if you can envision it like as it's happening in front of you, you'll be able to talk about it. That's why I think the language skills is really important, because we've got people who don't really have the command of the English language, and so it's hard for them to really share their thoughts. And you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's important.
To inspire the English-speaking people.
And to inspire your council, because we all have to speak English on the council. And so I think it's really important. Why? Because I know that people know I only have 1 vote, but I have to speak and try to gain 2 more votes so I can have a majority to do what I want to do, right? And then staff. Well, just as you said, staff should be the executors of your vision, of my vision.
Yes.
So am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So you see how development is really, right now, we are so underdeveloped. And so in the next video, I hope you listen to us. It's mostly me. So, but feel free to jump in and tell me. Yeah, this video, it's all about me, because the question is, what is the vision of my vision? What is my vision once I become the mayor? And so thank you so much for hosting this show, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you at the next video.
Okay. Thank you for having me on.